Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Arsenal ready to cut their losses on unwanted star, willing to accept just £10 million. Arsenal are reportedly ready to cut their losses on Kieran Tierney this summer, as the left back is not part of Mikel Arteta's plans at the Emirates Stadium. The Metro reports that the North London side are willing to accept just £10 million for the Scotland star, as they want the player off their books. Tierney arrived at Arsenal in 2019 after a successful time in Scotland with Celtic. However, things have not gone to plan for the defender at the Emirates Stadium. The Premier League club parted ways with the £25 million for his services, so they are not suffering a major loss on the player. The 27-year-old has dealt with many injuries since leaving Glasgow and eventually found himself down Mikel Arteta's pecking order at Arsenal. The fullback was loaned out to Real Sociedad this season, but once again had fitness issues as he featured for the La Liga club 26 times only. It remains unclear what clubs have a concrete interest in Tierney ahead of the upcoming transfer window, but according to Football Insider, the former Celtic star would love to return to his old club. However, a potential deal is complicated. The report states the Scottish champions are unlikely to be able to afford a permanent transfer for Tierney, while his wages would make a loan move difficult. Although Tierney may bring in just £10 million for Arsenal, that will help them add to their squad this summer as the Gunners look to beat Man City to the Premier League title next season. Arteta is in the market for a new number 9, while a central midfielder could also arrive at the Emirates. Tierney will be one of many changes at the North London club over the coming months as the next phase of Arteta's project at Arsenal is set to get underway. Arsenal is still working to keep wonderkid despite reports of advanced transfer talks, says expert. Arsenal are still working to keep hold of Chido Obi Martin, according to Fabrizio Romano, as he addressed transfer rumours about Bayern Munich being in advanced talks to sign the prolific wonderkid. Speaking exclusively to CaughtOffside for his latest daily briefing column, Romano explained that Obi Martin has had interest from both Bayern and Borussia Dortmund in recent times, but it's not necessarily the case that Arsenal are out of this yet. The Gunners may still have some hope of keeping the talented teenager and tying him down to a new deal, according to Romano, so fans will no doubt hope there can be a positive update soon and that these links with Bayern are a tad premature. Romano perhaps also suggests we could have an update in the coming days, so Gunners will be hoping they don't have to wait too long for a bit more clarity on the future of one of their most exciting young players. Romano said the following: Despite some talks of Arsenal wonderkid Obi Martin now being in advanced negotiations with Bayern Munich, I'm told the situation with Obi Martin is still open. Bayern and Borussia Dortmund have been showing interest in the talented young striker for months, but Arsenal are still there and still trying to get him to sign a new contract and keep Obi Martin at the club. Let's see what happens in the next days. Arsenal's academy has produced some fine players in recent times, most notably Bukayo Saka, but also some other useful members of Mikel Arteta's first team such as Edin Ketaya, Emil Smith-Rowe and Reece Nelson, while the likes of Alex Iwobi and Maitland-Niles have gone on to do well at other clubs. Obi Martin could be another elite talent coming through at tail end, and it would certainly be a shame to lose him to someone like Bayern before he really gets a shot at first team football. Juventus set for talks with the Premier League club over £50 million Arsenal target. Juventus will hold talks with Aston Villa over Douglas Luiz in the coming days, but a deal will be hard for the Serie A giants to complete. The Italian club are not in the best situation financially heading into the summer transfer market, but are fans of Luiz and want to add the Brazilian to their squad. According to Fabrizio Romano, The only way Juve can get the deal done is by including players in their bid. Samuel Jr. and Weston McKennie are two players the European giants are considering offering to Aston Villa as talks are set to get underway in the coming days. Villa will not want to lose Luiz ahead of the 24-25 campaign as they need a strong squad to compete in the Champions League upon their return to Europe's top competition. The signing of the Villa star would be a big coup for Juventus as the 26-year-old has been a long-term target for Arsenal and is one of their first options if they add to their midfield this summer. Aston Villa are one club that need to sell players before June 30 to comply with the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules, which will give clubs hope of landing Luiz. The Birmingham outfit are set to want £50 million for the Brazilian, as Arsenal contemplate making a move for the midfielder, having seen their attempts fail in the past. The Gunners wanted to bring Luiz to the Emirates in 2022, but Villa rejected their bids before the player signed a new deal with the Birmingham-based team. The 26-year-old would be a great addition to Mikel Arteta's side, but it remains to be seen if they make an official move for the player or if Juventus get there first. Fabrizio Romano provides bad news for Arsenal as Benjamin Sesko decides to stay at RB Leipzig. Arsenal target Benjamin Sesko has decided to stay at RB Leipzig and has signed a new contract with the German club. Arsenal and many other clubs are looking like they have missed out on the talented young signature. Fabrizio Romano wrote on Give Me Sport the following: Benjamin Sesko has decided to stay at RB Leipzig and sign a new contract on improved terms. Decision made for talented striker, similar to what Haaland decided back in the days at Dortmund. Sesko will stay at Leipzig with a new gentleman agreement for a future exit. This is a massive blow for Arsenal as the club looked to be set on bringing the young striker into the fold and almost seemed like we were going to start to build around him, with a striker position needing to be filled this summer and Arsenal making no secret that we're looking for a young talent. Sesko seemed to tick every box for the North London club and Arteta's playing style. This leaves Arsenal in somewhat of a bad position, as I think a lot of people thought they'd be able to convince Sesko to join the club and buy into the project, but as he looks likely to stay for at least another season, Arsenal will need to alter our plans in the striker department and could put a few plans on hold. Of course, every club has list and Sesko will not be the be all and all. There will be other players who match the description of what we were looking for, but Sesko did seem to be the perfect option when you had a look at the bigger picture. It will be interesting to see who the club up to go for now. Could we look for somewhat of a stopgap striker who will complement Havertz up top and wait for Sesko next season, or will we continue with what the plan seemed to be and bring in another young striker to build the squad around? Arsenal could trigger striker's £34 million release clause after Benjamin Sesko news. A story from The Guardian reveals that Arsenal could now focus on Bologna number 9 Joshua Zirkzee after Sesko decided to stay at Leipzig. It's said that the Netherlands under 21 international has a £34 million release clause written into his contract with the Serie A side, although Arsenal faces strong competition from AC Milan. Zirkzee enjoyed a superb 23-24 campaign under Thiago Motta at Bologna, helping the Italian outfit qualify for the UEFA Champions League with 11 goals and 5 assists in 34 Serie A appearances. If the Gunners did move to trigger the Dutchman's £34 million release clause, it would mean Arteta has more money to spend on other positions, as The Guardian believe Arsenal were ready to spend £55 million on activating Sesko's release clause. If Arsenal really are planning to trigger Zirkzee's release clause, Edo needs to move quickly. Not only are AC Milan pushing to sign the 33-year-old, but Vincent Kompany is also believed to be keen on signing the man. this summer after replacing Thomas Tuchel at Bayern Munich. That is potentially costly for Arsenal, as the Belgian tactician used to coach Zirkzee, who has been compared to Dennis Bergkamp during his time at Anderlecht and holds a strong relationship with the Bologna marksman. Newcastle think Man City are more likely than Arsenal to sign a Bruno Guimaraes. Arsenal are looking to sign a great midfielder this summer. There is every reason to believe that next summer, Mikel Arteta will unveil a new midfield trio capable of tearing up the Premier League. A perfect midfield lineup for the upcoming season should see Martin Odegaard continue to pull strings in attack, Declan Rice take up a free role and play as a box-to-box midfielder, a role in which he has shown himself to be at his best, and the new midfielder play as a six and act as a solicitor, providing defensive caution for the team. Arsenal are rumored to be pursuing a number of defensive midfielders, but Bruno Guimaraes is not one you should expect Arsenal to side. Guimaraes is one of the Premier League's best defensive midfielders. Most Premier League clubs would jump at the chance to sign him. Notably, until the last week of the month, the player is available for a temporary £100 million release. Between now and the end of June, any team may sign the Brazilian for £100 million if he agrees to their proposal. Newcastle will not block the player's departure if he agrees to leave and join a club that agrees to activate his release clause, but they can sell him for any price when the release clause expires in July. It's currently unknown whether any team will exercise Guimaraes' release clause, so will Arsenal spend £100 million for the Newcastle midfielder? According to the Northern Echo, Newcastle sources are certain that Arsenal will not pose a significant threat to Guimaraes staying at James Park. Instead, the concern is that Manchester City could push hard to buy their 26-year-old midfielder star. Hearing such revelations, I believe, makes you feel apprehensive about Arsenal's midfield hunt. Worry continues to rise about who they will sign, as they can't afford not to sign a reliable number 6 this summer. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.